You won't believe what just happened. The legendary Gladys Knight, known as the Empress of Soul, left thousands of fans in shock when her highly anticipated concert at the Florida Theater was suddenly canceled. People had been waiting for weeks, some even traveling from different states just to witness her breathtaking performance. But as they arrived at the venue, excitement quickly turned into confusion. The doors remained closed, the lights dimmed, and whispers spread like wildfire. What was going on? At first, many thought it was a simple delay, maybe a technical issue or a last-minute schedule change. But then, the venue staff made an unexpected announcement that no one was prepared for. The concert was officially canceled. The reason? Gladys Knight had been rushed to the hospital. But here's where it gets even more shocking. No one knew exactly why. For the first few hours, there was complete silence from her team. No official statement, no explanation, just an eerie uncertainty that made fans even more anxious. Social media exploded with speculation. Some believed it was just exhaustion, a minor health scare that would soon pass. But others weren't so sure. Given that she is 79 years old and has been performing for decades, many feared something far more serious. Was this just a small setback, or was it the beginning of something much worse? The silence only made things more unsettling. Fans were desperate for answers, but none were coming. Then, slowly, details started to emerge. Reports from inside the venue suggested that the cancellation happened just hours before the show was set to begin. Everything had been going as planned. Sound checks were done, the stage was set, and the crew was ready. But behind the scenes, something wasn't right. Insiders revealed that Gladys Knight had not been feeling well the entire day. Some noticed that she seemed more tired than usual, her energy lower than expected. While she is known for her incredible dedication and strong stage presence, those close to her could tell something was off. Then, just before she was supposed to step on stage, her condition suddenly worsened. Her team immediately called for medical assistance, and within minutes, she was being rushed to the hospital. This was the moment when things took an unexpected turn. Fans outside the venue had no idea what was happening. They kept waiting, hoping for some announcement that the concert was simply delayed. But as time passed and the uncertainty grew, panic started to spread. Was it something minor, or was it something serious? Then came the real shock. Some sources suggested that the reason for her hospitalization could be linked to a heart-related issue. Given her age, this theory sent waves of concern across social media. But here's where things got even more mysterious. Her team still refused to confirm or deny anything. Why the secrecy? If it was just a small health issue, why not reassure the fans? Why was there no immediate statement clearing up the rumors? This silence only fueled the speculation. Fans started digging deeper, looking for any possible clue. Had she shown signs of health issues before? Was she secretly battling an illness? Could this be something that had been building up for a long time, finally reaching a breaking point? There were too many questions, but no answers. As the hours passed, the mystery surrounding Gladys Knight's sudden hospitalization only deepened. Fans who had initially hoped for a quick recovery were now growing more restless. The lack of information from her team was only making things worse. Social media was flooded with desperate questions. Was she conscious? Was it serious? Would she ever perform again? But there were no clear answers. Instead, conflicting reports began surfacing, making the situation even more confusing. Some sources claimed that she had suffered from severe dehydration and exhaustion, while others hinted at something far more alarming. The uncertainty left fans hanging on every small update, hoping for any sign that their beloved icon was okay. Then, an unexpected report emerged. Gladys Knight had reportedly shown signs of fatigue in recent weeks. Close friends and colleagues had noticed subtle changes. During her recent performances, she seemed slightly more out of breath, pausing more frequently between songs. At first, no one thought much of it. After all, she had been performing nonstop for decades, pushing through even the toughest schedules. But looking back, some people began to wonder, Had these been warning signs all along? Was she ignoring the signals that her body needed rest? But here's where things took an even crazier turn. Venue insiders leaked shocking details about the moments leading up to the cancellation. According to those working backstage, there had been a sudden shift in atmosphere just hours before showtime. Staff members were seen whispering in hushed tones, making frantic phone calls. The tension was unlike anything they had ever seen before. Then came the moment that changed everything. A member of Knight's team rushed to the stage crew and quietly instructed them to halt all preparations. Something had happened, but no one knew exactly what. That's when an ambulance was spotted near the venue's back entrance. Within moments, it was clear. Gladys Knight wasn't just feeling unwell, she needed immediate medical attention. But this is where it gets even more bizarre. While fans were still trying to make sense of what had happened, another shocking twist surfaced. This wasn't the first time concerns about her health had been raised. Some longtime fans recalled an incident from 2018 when she made headlines for what many believed was a secret battle with pancreatic cancer. At the time, she appeared at Aretha Franklin's funeral and reportedly mentioned having the same illness that took Franklin's life. The statement sent the media into a frenzy, but she later clarified that it was all a misunderstanding. Still, some remain skeptical. Had she been battling an illness in private all these years? Was this recent hospitalization connected to a much bigger health issue that had been kept secret from the public? The uncertainty was driving fans into a frenzy. Rumors exploded online, with theories ranging from a minor health scare to a life-threatening emergency. Meanwhile, celebrities and fellow musicians started speaking out, expressing their concern and offering prayers. Patti LaBelle, a longtime friend, tweeted, "Gladys, you are one of the strongest women I know. Praying for your health and strength." Others, including Smokey Robinson and Dionne Warwick, followed with similar messages. But instead of reassuring fans, these messages only made people more nervous. If it was just exhaustion, why were so many industry legends speaking as if it was something much worse? Then came another suspicious development. Instead of issuing a clear statement, Knight's representatives released a vague and carefully worded response. It simply stated that she had suffered from an unexpected illness and was receiving medical care. No further explanation, no details about her condition, nothing. This only fueled more speculation. Fans demanded to know, if it was something minor, why not just say so? Was her team hiding something? Could it be that her condition was far worse than they were willing to admit? As the public grew increasingly restless, journalists and insiders started digging even deeper. Could there be more to this story than anyone realized? Was this truly just a health scare, or was there a much bigger truth being kept under wraps? One thing was certain, the silence from her team was only making things worse. As more time passed, the silence from Gladys Knight's camp became too loud to ignore. Fans who had initially hoped for a simple explanation were now growing impatient. Some were even angry. Why wasn't her team providing a clear update? Was there something they didn't want the public to know? Social media was now filled with theories. Some believed she was still in the hospital, fighting a much more serious condition, while others feared the worst. Every hour without an update only added to the tension. But then, a new report surfaced, and this is where things took an unexpected and shocking turn. A well-connected industry insider who had worked with Knight in the past claimed that her health issues didn't start that night at the Florida Theater. According to the source, she had reportedly been struggling with exhaustion and medical concerns for weeks, possibly even months. They suggested that she had ignored multiple warnings from doctors and those close to her, choosing instead to push forward with her demanding schedule. And this is where it gets interesting. There were whispers that Knight didn't just collapse backstage before the Florida show. According to unverified reports, she had been feeling unwell earlier in the day, but refused to cancel. Witnesses claimed that she looked visibly drained when she arrived at the venue, but still, she insisted on going through with the performance. Some even said she had to be convinced to seek medical attention at the last moment. If true, this suggested one thing. Gladys Knight knew something was wrong, but tried to hide it. But here's the craziest part. Just as the public was demanding more answers, one of Knight's family members finally spoke out. Instead of a formal press release, a relative gave a brief statement to a well-known tabloid saying she's resting and getting the care she needs. That's it. No details about what exactly happened, no information about how serious it was, just another vague response. Fans were left even more frustrated. If everything was fine, why not just say so? And then the biggest bombshell of all dropped. An anonymous hospital source claimed that Knight's condition was more severe than her team was letting on. According to this unconfirmed report, she had been under medical observation for longer than expected and was not yet cleared to leave. This directly contradicted the previous claims that she was simply resting. If this was true, why wasn't her team being honest about it? Meanwhile, the entertainment world was buzzing. Celebrities who had once sent simple well wishes were now expressing deeper concern. Stevie Wonder, a longtime friend, publicly said, "We're all praying for her. She's strong, but this is a tough time." Music executives who had worked with her in the past hinted that she may not be able to return to performing anytime soon. Some even questioned if this incident could force her into an early retirement. The controversy around her condition only grew stronger when reports surfaced that Knight's team was carefully controlling what information was being released. A journalist who attempted to contact her representatives was reportedly shut down immediately, being told that they were not taking questions at this time. This level of secrecy was highly unusual. It was now clear that something was being kept from the public. At this point, the situation was spiraling into a full-blown mystery. Fans weren't just concerned anymore. They were demanding the truth. What really happened to Gladys Knight that night? Why was her team so reluctant to share details? And more importantly, was this a temporary health scare or the beginning of something much bigger? As more time passed, the situation became even more confusing. The little information that was available seemed to contradict itself. Some sources claimed that Gladys Knight was stable and recovering, while others insisted that her condition was more serious than anyone was admitting. The lack of clarity made fans even more restless. Was she actually improving, or was her team just trying to control the narrative? But this is where things took another unexpected turn. A new report from an entertainment journalist suggested that Knight had been struggling with health issues for much longer than people realized. According to sources close to the singer, this wasn't the first time she had experienced medical concerns. In fact, some even claimed that her team had covered up previous health scares to avoid public concern. If true, this would mean that the Florida theater incident was not just an isolated event, but part of a much larger story. And here's the shocking part. A music industry insider who had worked with Knight on past tours revealed that the singer had almost canceled a show just a few weeks before the Florida performance due to exhaustion. At the time, it was brushed off as a minor issue, but now fans were questioning whether that was the first warning sign that something was seriously wrong. Meanwhile, the pressure on her team kept increasing. Fans weren't just asking for answers anymore, they were demanding the truth. Theories started circulating online, with some even suggesting that Knight's team was intentionally hiding the severity of her condition to protect her career. Others believed that they were waiting for the right moment to make a major announcement about her future. The more time passed, the more these speculations grew out of control. At the same time, Knight's fellow artists were becoming more vocal. Patti LaBelle, who had already shared a brief message of support, made another statement saying, "She's strong, but we need to keep her in our prayers." Dionne Warwick echoed the sentiment, adding that Gladys is a fighter, but this is a tough time for her. But what stood out the most was what they didn't say. Neither of them gave specific details about Knight's condition, which only fueled more speculation. Why was everyone being so careful with their words? Then came the biggest twist yet. A former tour manager who had worked with Knight in the past suggested that she might have been ignoring doctors' advice for years. According to him, the singer had been pushing her body to the limit, refusing to slow down even when her health demanded it. This raised a crucial question. Had she known that something was wrong but chose to keep going anyway?